Right now at Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory, save 50 to 70% off everything in stores and online. That's right, 50 to 70% off everything. Celebrate the 4th with dresses from $19.99 at Banana Republic Factory. And at Gap Factory stores, tees start at $4.99. Plus, save an extra 40% off clearance. Sale ends Tuesday. Search our store locator for your nearest Gap Factory and Banana Republic Factory store or shop us online.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander.
How you wanna end a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise of talk sports on a national level? Bold with the topic, sorta like some rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th, so the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys, diversified and educated.
You know it.
What's good, War Room family? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports. On that War Room Sports Podcast Network, I'm one of your hosts, Dev McMillan. I'm at the round table with my dudes. Jimmy the Blueprint is back, and we got the Bull B. Austin. The NBA draft is come and gone. NBA free agency hasn't even started yet, but the league can't stay out of the news cycle. So we'll rap about the craziness that's been the last week in the NBA. But before we commence to our dialogue on this thing of ours, make sure you join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, or join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 5 minutes. Yes, I said 5 minutes. When we open up the Digital Extreme Tech hotline at numbers 323-410-0012. Do that now, but during the week, this is what we need you to do. Every week, be sure to check out the War Room Sports Podcast Network. Besides our own podcast, The War Room, you can also listen to shows such as The Broad Street Line. Shout out to Roy and Chris. Jimmy was just on the Broad Street Line Express up in the Philly Cam Studios last week, man. That was a great interview. I enjoyed the whole thing, Jim. You can also listen to shows such as the Tissue and the Tape Hip Hop Show if you're a hip hop head. Shout out to Philmatic and Survive. John Appetit if you like to eat with the Burtons. No Look Podcast with Frank and Andy for all you NBA heads. You know, we're not trying to infringe on their territory. I know our last 3 shows have been NBA heavy, but man, the NBA is ruling the news cycle like they're the NFL right now. So, you know, we got to go with it. On the Couch with the Wilsons, if you like TV and movies and a whole lot more, just visit warroomsports.com, click the WRS Podcast Network tab, go to our free mobile app and click the network tab there. What up, homies? Yo, what do y'all think about what I was just saying, man? Like, the NFL seems relatively quiet compared to the NBA, and it's usually the other way around. The NFL tries to rule the news cycle all year round. NBA kicking their butts right now.
Yeah, they're in
yo.
they're in the ring, and they're in the social media. Well, not even social. They're in the media ring, boxing ring, throwing blows. And right now, it looks like the NBA is a great counterpuncher after getting his face beat up in the summertime for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yo, you heard.
So shout out to them and.
With your man Aubrey.
Eid Mubarak to our listeners in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Dubai.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Salute to the Akis. But, yo, your man Aubrey, you heard what he said. He said the BET Awards followed by the NBA Awards. He said the black man ain't been that busy in 200 years. But,
same week.
You know what I'm saying? But,
yo,
it's crazy.
It's like,
and they're trying. Like, with that award show?
B said they're getting their face beat up in the media, but I mean, the NBA got their face beat up throughout the season and especially in the playoffs. It seems like the media cycle now, the news cycle in the summertime is way more exciting than anything that happened in the playoffs.
Well, Dad, you know what that boils down to? They realize that now there's a black commissioner who owns a black league and the Big Three is coming. So they got to do something. Salute.
Not by all the
right?
reviews I heard on that this week. But go ahead, Jim.
No, my point is that it's one of those things where they always wanted to compete with the NFL. So you see them mimicking some of the stuff the NFL does with the award show and such. But also, like, we hate what the game has become, like with the playoffs.
But we actually enjoy the arms race more than the actual games now. It's like the off season is more lit than the regular season. We like to see what kind of crazy exotic trades and deals are going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So people can compete with these super teams.
See who's going to jump on the banana boat next.
Yeah, pretty much. We enjoy that. Like, we enjoy the off season more. Like, we like the arms race more than the war itself.
I mean, every off season, at least one more team gets erased from the watchable list. Shout out to the Clippers. Look,
yo, I was talking to an old head today.
Shot at the Clippers.
I was talking to an old head today, and I'm like, he was talking about the whole Chris Paul thing. He's like, man, San Diego ain't gonna be nothing no more. I was like, I had to look up, like, yo, you are an old head, dog.
Yo, he ain't watched since the Clippers was in San Diego.
I'm like, dog, you called them San Diego, though. I'm like, am I gonna be that way when I get to be like 70, 80? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you're gonna be like, those goddamn Vancouver Grizzlies need to stop. Yo,
shout out to the league for letting the Lakers keep the name the Lakers when they went to LA, even though it makes no sense.
I know, right? So there ain't no damn lakes in LA. So did he miss the whole Donald Sterling era? He missed the whole thing.
I think that, like, he just was used to calling him San Diego, I guess. Like,
it's just ingrained in his psyche right now.
Yeah, pretty much. Hey, yo, Dev, speaking of no lake in LA, how much Jazz is played in Utah?
I know, right? Like, sometimes when you move the team, you got to chill. You got to just change the name. You got to. Because, Jazz in Utah, probably 0%. I'm going to go with 0. That's my answer. I'm going to go with 0. Ain't nobody blowing no saxophones in Utah. Ain't no lakes in Los Angeles. Y'all got to chill. All right, man. It's been a crazy week. So we're going to get right into this, man. And shout out to Skyview in the chat room. He already on it. He said Chris Paul playing with James Harden is just dumb. They should have huddled. Shout out to that. Make sure you get that They Should Have Huddled t-shirt from WarRoomSports.com. Just click on the memorabilia tab. Grab that. You should have huddled. But anyway, we're going to go right into this NBA minutia because it's been crazy all week leading up from the draft all the way to – we can't even say all the way up to free agency because that hasn't even started yet. So that frenzy is going to happen in a few days. But the NBA Wrap is brought to you by Sports the Book. Tired of reading the same old sports books with the tired old sports lists, rankings, imaginary starting lineups, GOAT arguments? Well, be sure to pick up your copy of Sports. Smart people only read the sports. It's the Illmatic of sports book, and the mixture of sports and hip-hop culture will keep you on your toes from beginning to end. So just go to sportsthebook.com, get your copy from our website, warroomsports.com, wherever you choose to get it from. Just make sure you don't miss the movement. And another shout out to our partner Jimmy, because he's a 2-time author now. Like, his second book does it. It isn't sports related, but it's important.
He's beating us,
Should read that as well.
Brother Jim is beating us. We gotta get our books out.
Can't remember last time I wrote a paragraph.
It's for the culture, man. It ain't even about me. It's for the culture.
Yeah, I gotta wait till my kids get like 10. I'm like, be off.
Yo, be off.
Nah, even at 10, you ain't gonna be able to get it done because then you're gonna be trucking them around to their sporting event.
He already doing that.
I'm about to say we started early. All right, man. So yeah, let's rap about it. So let's go right into what Skyview's talking about, man. Chris Paul, it's going to read in NBA history as a trade, but Chris Paul basically wanted to play with, I guess, James Harden for at least a year, wanted to go to the Rockets, so he forced a trade by
They wanted to play together.
By opting in to his last year of his contract with the Clippers and forcing them to trade him to the Houston Rockets. He was traded for, to make those salaries match, he was traded for a slew of folks. Let's see those names. Patrick Beverley, Lou Williams, Sam Decker, Montrezl Harrell, Darren Hilliard, DeAndre Liggins, Kyle Wiltshire, a protected first-round pick next year, and cash considerations. first of all, before we even get into the reasoning and the banana boatness of it all, what do y'all think about the actual trade? Like, do you think the Clippers? I mean, I'm not going to ask you if the Clippers got back, equal talent, because they didn't. But is any of this going to backfire on Houston? Because the first thing I see, I think they're going to regret getting rid of Head Patrick Beverley.
Yeah, definitely. That was my biggest point in some of the conversations I had when this trade first, jumped off. Yes, Chris Paul is an all-star, all-NBA, future, I think we can say, future Hall of Famer. He is. That's everything he is.
Yeah,
but you still have to consider the fact that when you look at talent and how it fits on a team, you've brought redundancy to your team because he and James Harden do the same thing, alibi a little bit differently. They both are ball dominant, great pick and roll players who pass as equally as well as score. Maybe James Harden probably scores a little bit better than pass, but he's an excellent passer who thrived as a point guard. And then there's this thing, and I know you guys see this and understand it, but there's this lie that's out there that Chris Paul is this all-world defender, which is definitely not true. He's not a better defender than Patrick Beverley. Yo, because he gets steals. Because he plays the passing lane. He plays the passing lane
Allen
and he
Iverson
gets steals. But on the ball,
3 times. He's never been a first-team all-defender. Like, that's like
on-ball defense, Chris Paul is average. Like, at one point in time, he may have been above average. He was never great, but he's average on ball. Like, he's not Patrick Beverley. So
see, but that's why I think they're going to miss Patrick Beverley because, even though he's not the player Chris Paul is, I'm not saying that in any way whatsoever. I just think it's going to be a noticeable drop-off on the ball. You already have, Patrick Beverley was the guy who could mask James Harden's defensive deficiencies by putting him on the better guard. Like, you're going to try to do that now. You can't put Chris Paul on the shooting guard because he's going to get his neck smashed off. Like,
he's gonna get baked and roasted. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, they're going to have a very cerebral backcourt, offensively at least. On the defensive end, there's going to be a lot of mismatches. Lou Williams, that's a loss that you can pretty much take. He's a hired gun. They still have Eric Gordon on the team, so that role is still pretty much taken. Sam Decker he's promising. Sam Decker can be a good player in this league. The rest of those guys are throw-in, so I'm not really concerned about that. I just think they're gonna, I think it's gonna be a difficult meshing, of these two guys in the same backcourt.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
I don't think the problem is offensive though. Offensively, you're going to see great offensive basketball. The problem is going to be defensively. Chris Paul's overrated and too little, and the other boy don't want to defend at all ever. It's a time for him to rest.
For me, this trade is interesting on so many levels. Considering he could have been a free agent like 2 days from now, how he kind of pursued this and went about it, it has to be part of a bigger piece. Something else has to drop. Now, we've heard all the rumors about Melo and PG-13, which are interesting, but I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. When the Warriors made that move for Durant, it wasn't just that they were getting Kevin Durant. It's how he complemented what they did, how they could spread the floor, how those guys are unselfish. Like, they literally,
this boy just joined up, made a big name.
They literally have the 3 best shooters in the league. So it's like they all complement each other. It's not just about adding names; it's about adding complementary pieces. And I don't see that happening here, but it has to be part of something bigger as well. Because if you look at the Rockets right now, and you look at the team that Chris Paul left, he left a better team, just from a roster standpoint. DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, Jamal Crawford.
Great point.
Like if you look just at the roster, he left a better team, so it has to be part of something bigger. Now, the one thing I found interesting was the story that came out about him and his displeasure with Doc Rivers. I found that to be completely interesting. With Doc Rivers favoring Austin Rivers.
Because we didn't know that.
Yeah, like the way he was favoring Austin Rivers, and he turned down a trade to get Melo, basically for CP3, Austin Rivers, and Jamal Crawford. He didn't want to give it to his son. Like, if that's true, if that report is true, then I can see CP3 like, let's get me out of here. Like, I'm done with ball.
I told y'all Doc was overrated a long time ago. Everything he does, but listen,
Doc is a great father. Though. He was like, he looks at the ball on a whole different level. He's like, I'm gonna make sure my son get a bag because I'm cutting a check with somebody else's money.
But I can tell you exactly what the bigger picture is that you keep referring to. Chris Paul is trying to make sure that he becomes an unrestricted free agent in the same year that LeBron James does. Like, please do not be surprised if these dudes end up on the same team somewhere next season, be it in Los Angeles or wherever. But they're trying to set it up. So, the Banana Boat Boys can possibly, reunite and actually be on the court with the Ray Willis six man.
I agree.
I totally get that, Dev, but if you're an executive, and I think who's the executive? Daniel Morey, I think his name is? Whoever he is.
Morey.
Don't you have to, seize that? Or do you think that you can somehow make Houston that destination? There has to be something you're seeing for it,
yeah. He's going for it. I've seen his interview since the trade happened. He's going for it right now. I mean, he just said a few minutes ago on PTI, they asked him, do you really think, there's a chance that you can re-sign Chris Paul after this year, or do you think this is a one-year thing? He literally led off his statement saying, well, it's a one-year thing, but when the time comes when we're allowed to, try to talk to him and negotiate with him about the future, we're going to do that. So they're going to try, but they know this is going to be at least a one-year thing. They're just going for it right now. They're going to see where the chips fall because he's aggressively.
I respect Morey.
He's aggressively pursuing.
I respect the aggressive approach, but you got to be aggressive. Because on the flip side of that, you got Danny Ainge who's stockpiling for I don't know what he's stockpiling for.
Yo, he's stockpiling for the apocalypse. You want to have ballers when the zombies come.
Danny Ainge is
stockpiling for the end. Yo, he's stockpiling for the end of basketball. When that's going no more, at least I'm going to have a great team.
2023, the Celtics going to have the top 10 picks. He's going to flip that into having his own first round. Because I don't know what else he's doing.
Boston Celtics. They can pick in the draft. Boston Celtics. Yeah. Nah, I think Danny Ainge, he's going to pull the trigger on something soon. Everybody thinks he has the inside track to signing Gordon Hayward, so they're trying to get somebody else, possibly a Paul George or somebody. Jimmy Butler, of course, is off the radar. We'll talk about that in a minute.
So,
to go along with.
Gordon Hayward is an excellent player, but when I hear names float out like CP3 and LeBron and Paul George, even Kyrie on the block, Gordon.
No, but that's why, Jim, they're trying to get Gordon Hayward and somebody else. Gordon
and
Hayward
someone else, yeah.
They think he's going to sign there just because his college coach is there. So, but it seems like that's a pretty done deal unless Gordon Hayward just throws everybody a curveball. The reason they're grabbing all of those,
anyway, for other reasons,
they're grabbing all of those picks and everything is because they're about to try to make a deal for somebody else. They want Gordon and Paul on the same team.
Oh. I thought Gordon Hayward was going to sign in Boston because Boston is a city that would appreciate having Gordon Hayward as its face.
Listen, my thing is Gordon Hayward is the right hue man to be in Boston. Oh, that was me.
He got the complexion for the connection.
You didn't even catch that. He's the right hue man.
Hue man.
Bars.
Hue man. But yeah. So. This whole thing, we even speaking offensively, okay? I mean, I think that these two players are smart enough to make it happen. I just don't understand. Yeah. I don't understand because you get D'Antoni. D'Antoni moves Harden to the one. He has the greatest season of his career, arguably the league MVP. Too bad those arguments didn't come to fruition. Shout out to Russ. Arguably MVP of the league, runner-up MVP of the league. and now you grab Chris Paul. Like, there's no if, and, or buts. If Chris Paul is on the team, Chris Paul is your point guard. That's it. So
right.
It's not like people going around asking, well, who's going to play?
That's because Chris Paul can't play any other position. So
yeah, and I'm not saying that Harden is never going to bring the ball up, because that's ludicrous. But Chris Paul is your full-time point guard. So Harden goes back to his normal position. But the only thing about Harden in his normal position, he pretty much handled the ball most of the time as the point guard. I mean, as the shooting guard wherever he was as well. Even in Oklahoma City, he would come off the bench and have the ball in his hands. So I'm really interested to see how they plan on making the whole thing work.
He's good enough off the ball for it to work. He is the type of guy. He's the type of player offensively. I'll give him the credit to say that he reminds me of the Sun, in that anything the Sun decided that he was going to do, he would just be great at it. And I think to a much lesser extent, Harden can play off the ball, but having seen what he did in D'Antoni's system, if I'm James Harden and I have a big beard, I'm asking myself, well, why would I want to play off the ball if I know I can do that? That's like me shaving my beard. Like, why would I want to?
Do you guys think that he was consulted about
make
this?
sense.
Like he had to approve of this?
Yeah. No, they want to play together. It's both of them. It's
I'm about to say, this had to be like a decision. Because Chris Paul, if you're going to force your way out, you could pretty much force your way anywhere, in the league. But I guess, Houston had the right pieces and James Harden was there. I don't know. But I'm sure they had to speak to him, throughout the whole process.
Listen, man,
and even if they didn't, that's Chris Paul. We got a chance to get him. Like, we don't really care what you say.
It's tax benefits of playing there. They have an amazing adult entertainment nightlife there. You know what I'm saying?
Save a grip in Texas.
Yeah, it's one of the fastest growing cities. In fact, Houston passed Philadelphia in terms of population. So
he's not gonna have a better haircut.
So then the reports are Chris Paul, his closest friend in the league is Carmelo Anthony. Remember, we heard the rumors about them maybe teaming up in New York after some of their Banana Boat brethren got together in Miami.
Yeah.
Fruition. Carmelo did his point. Chris Paul never made his way east. So there's rumors now that Carmelo is willing to go to the Houston Rockets. This is what I hear. He would force the buyout to go to Cleveland and sign there for less money, I guess. He said he would go to – well, sources say that his people say he would go to Houston, but by trade. He would kick his trade kicker to go to Houston and play with Chris Paul. Like, first of all, I'm like, damn, at 2 Melo. But at the same time, when all of these rumors are brewing, I'm like, and somebody, shout out to whoever brought this up to us when we were talking about, I think it was the homie Al Tariq, shout out to him. He's a Knicks fan, so I know he knows this firsthand. He was wondering, well, how does everybody think Carmelo would want to go to Houston when he pretty much allegedly was the reason that D'Antoni got fired in New York? So how do you guys think that will work? Or do you think
here's the thing. I heard
rumors are totally preposterous?
I heard Stephen A. Smith say that he heard from Melo, and basically Melo wants to go so bad that he would even work with D'Antoni. Like, that's not even the issue for him. I'm like, he must want out of New York bad, because he said that's not even an issue for him. He would play for D'Antoni if he could play with CP3 and Harden.
But that's weird too, because if he wanted out of New York bad, he could have been out when
but he also
Phil
wanted
Jackson choke slam. Must have been a pride thing. I don't want to go out that way. Yeah, and we'll talk about that situation in a minute when we get to Phil. But it's just a weird situation to me, man.
Melo's another one. Where, from a talent perspective, I would never disrespect that man and say that he couldn't play in any system, because I still look at Carmelo Anthony as top 3 scorer, top 3 offensive players in the league, maybe top 5, top 4. So he he can fit in any system. But do you want to run in D'Antoni's system, having already experienced? Maybe Chris Paul and James Harden make the difference. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure the talent makes the difference. You know, if you're gonna do all that running, it could at least be with some good dudes.
And Melo put up some nice numbers with D'Antoni too. Like they ain't win much, but Melo was filling the stat sheet up.
So the Rockets, they still need to clear up some cap space to acquire, you know, Paul George or Carmelo Anthony, whichever one, you know, they're going to end up pursuing. And a lot of people think that means Ryan Anderson and his 4-year, $80 million contract is the next to go. Which
how he did that in the first place?
Well, Ryan Anderson, in today's analytics league,
I know he's a solid player.
40% from three.
$80 million, dog.
Takes about 7 threes per game, hitting at that
dog,
clip.
He's a very valuable.
He's a very valuable
that's
piece
my guy. Listen,
in today's NBA.
I like Ryan Anderson. I like Ryan Anderson.
But think about it,
when you
though.
say 4 years, $80 million, I just gotta say.
What does LeBron make annually? Like 30, 35 million?
Yeah, I mean it's the new market. Like I don't even laugh at this stuff.
But my point is,
I'm over it now. Like
20. If Ryan Anderson makes 20, LeBron should make 70.